Welcome back to the Brandmerry Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in for another episode. And if this is your first episode, hey, welcome. I'm so excited that we have met on the interwebs. Today I want to talk about your signature offering. Now, most of my clients are service-based entrepreneurs, and when they're just getting started, especially inside of my program, Roadmap to Freedom, they might be at a place where they're wondering, what should I offer? How do I package my expertise and then present it online into something that someone's actually going to pay them money for? Now, there are a lot of options online as well. We've got courses, we've got one-on-one, we've got membership, we've got digital goods. We're going to talk about all of that today, and I'm going to give you a simple framework to get you started in picking out your signature offer. We are in the middle of the Roadmap to Freedom launch, and I am so excited to share one little micro training that I teach my clients inside of Roadmap to Freedom with you today. If you don't know what Roadmap to Freedom is, it is my signature group program that leads entrepreneurs through a step-by-step framework that helps them launch their business into the world and scale their business to consistent 3K plus months. The ultimate goal is to help them achieve that time, financial, and location freedom that they desire. So if you're a brand new entrepreneur and you're just kind of navigating where to get started, this program is for you. If you have been DIYing it but nothing feels complete, this program is for you. And if you feel like you're a seasoned entrepreneur but you're not yet making consistent 3K months in your business, this program is for you. You can learn more at brandmerry.com/freedom. Doors are now open through October 8th. And when the doors close, this will be the last live group program that we offer. So this is your final chance to get in to the same exact program that we have been offering for 6 years now, which is pretty incredible. And you can learn more and hear from alumni over at brandmerry.com/freedom. When I was thinking about today's podcast episode, I wanted to kind of pull from our fourth module that we teach inside of the program. It's all about designing your signature offering. Now, I'm not going to give it all away because that's the goods that you get inside of Roadmap to Freedom. And I have a very specific process that I lead my clients through in designing their framework, which really plays a role in how they market and message their offering, obviously leading to increased conversions and more money in their business. But I want to walk you through kind of part one of this process. So if you are just getting started and wondering what you could monetize or offer online, or maybe you started with a digital good or something like a low-priced ebook and you're really wanting to scale that up and charge more for your services online, or if you're looking to pivot, you're in the middle of a rebrand, maybe you're wanting to offer something new, maybe what you started with isn't really working, we're gonna just break this down step by step. So a little backstory on me, I have been offering one-to-one services in my business since day one. I really wanted to look for the lowest barrier to entry when I started as an entrepreneur. Now, obviously, I know a lot of things have changed online. There's so much more talk about courses and passive income and paid workshops and memberships and digital goods and shops and all of the things. But I still stand by the fact that all of these years later, I really think that if a one-to-one type of service, consulting, coaching, training, anything like that is available to you, it's a fantastic place to start. So I just wanted to kind of share that and touch on that a bit, because if you are just getting started, it can be really tempting to go ahead and just like build out a course and spend the next 9 months building out a course and launching that course into the world and hoping that it works. But it's a lot easier to get started within the next week with promoting and talking about a one-to-one offer that doesn't require any overhead from you. And for me, that's huge. Like, I didn't want to have to invest in all of these different things out of the gate in order to make my one-on-one work. And I was able to put up a sales page on my website, which I had already invested in for my brand, and use a free scheduling tool and send an invoice via PayPal. and hold my calls on Zoom, which I used for free at the time. So it's really easy to get started. And the other thing to consider, if you're wondering kind of, how are you going to ultimately, offer this, how are you going to make money in this, is that you can charge a lot more for a one-to-one service. So you're actually getting more ROI for your marketing out of the gate, and you need less people to take you up on your offer to make revenue in your business. So in the beginning, I was talking about those 3K months. Like, you could very easily just focus on 3 one-to-one clients at $1,000 a month investment and hit that goal. And if it's a 3-month or a 6-month contract, you now know that you have that coming in for 6 months. So it's like the simplest way to get started if you're feeling really overwhelmed with memberships and courses and group programs and all of those different things. It's not the only way to get started. There are a lot of options available. We're going to talk about some of those when we get to that part of the process. But I just wanted to share that with you, that it can be a lot easier than you think. And a lot of my clients that come into my program, Roadmap to Freedom, start off with low price digital goods that just are not bringing in enough money in their business, or they launched a course that completely flopped and they're wanting to go back to basics, and they discover that one-on-one is actually a really great place for them to start to solidify what they're actually providing and to kind of learn, like, what do they ultimately want to package into a course based on their experience with their clients. So my group program, Roadmap to Freedom, actually came from my experience in one-on-one. I had worked for about 6 months in one-on-one and realized I was saying the same thing over and over again. So I created a group program to give the step-by-step process. And then later, I actually cherry-picked a part of Roadmap to Freedom out and created a branding course on that, because I realized that that is kind of the entry point into working with me. So lots of cool things that we can do with our framework. But the first thing that we need to do, no matter where you're at in business, is brainstorm what you bring to the table. So I've seen a couple people teach this just like a long laundry list. Maybe you could create a Trello board or a ClickUp. I am a pen to paper type of girl, so that's what I like to do. Google Doc, Post-its on the wall, whatever works for you. But the idea here is that you are going to list out all of the things that you are an expert in, the things your friends and family come to you or coworkers with questions on, the things you have experience in. Maybe you're not an expert per se, but you have a lot of experience in this one area. Something that you have taught yourself that, again, other people are coming to you for. And then, of course, if you have the education and the credentials, we want all of that in there as well. So when I was first getting started, I didn't really know what I wanted to build my business around. And I followed this exact process, and I started to realize that a lot of the things really centered around communication. My expertise was in communication, my education was in communication. A lot of my friends and coworkers would come to me on these topics, and I was really good at it. I liked doing it. And so that started to kind of point me in the direction of how I could support entrepreneurs with, branding themselves online and then ultimately sharing their brand with the world, which is still what I do today. Pretty cool, I think. So you want to start like pulling these things out of you and take some time with this. Don't just say in 10 minutes you're going to figure out what it is you want to do. Like, sit with this, have this process last maybe like 3 to 5 days, come back and revisit it, think of something else, ask your friends, like dig down deep here. And what we want to see is like what's coming up as a connection between a lot of these different items. Again, are you really good at hair, right? Are you really great at teaching marketing? Have you recently got a yoga certification and this is a topic that you're really passionate about? Are you interested in gardening because you teach other people how to garden? So lots of different areas here. And you really want to start with you. It can be really tempting to just say, oh, so-and-so is doing this, I can do that. Or this seems like something other people want, I'll just do that. But we need to start with what feels aligned for you. Otherwise, you're going to build your whole entire business based on what other people want and what other people are doing, and you're not going to feel aligned with that. So through this process, you might discover that like, whoa, this is an area that a lot of people need support with. Great. And I love doing it. Fantastic. That's something that happened in my story as well. But this is kind of the ideation phase. And the first thing we want to do is put it all out there. All right. So that's number one. Number two, you want to look at that list and you want to start thinking about two items: impact and income. These are two crucial pieces of having a successful brand. And we obviously need money coming in order to have a business. But we also want what we are creating to have an impact on a specific group of people, our ideal customer. So while you're looking at that list, you want to start to move and prioritize the things that you think are going to have the highest impact and generate the highest income. Now, if you are someone who is not looking to go all in on your business or, sustain yourself and your lifestyle with your business, give yourself some grace here, okay? Maybe you've decided that you want to start a business, but your goal is really 2 to 3K months. That's totally fine. Your income goal is your income goal. I want you to decide what feels right for you and what you have the capacity for. And so maybe a lower priced offer might work for you. But again, these are the two pieces. Really think about what your goals are for you personally, your business, your lifestyle. But we want to start rearranging this list so that we are driving up the things that have the highest market value. And the impact piece, right? People want it. They want it. They need it. It's going to impact them in some way. Inside of my messaging modules, I talk a lot about the problem that you solve. There has to be a specific problem that you solve. And so we're going to talk about that in a few minutes, but this might come up for you at this stage. What is the problem that people are experiencing, and can I use my wisdom and my experiences and my credentials and my education to help solve that problem for them? When people have a problem, they will pay to solve the problem. That's where the income comes from. And of course, when we help someone solve a problem, then we're impacting their life, which is very, very important if you are a mission-driven entrepreneur, which I'm guessing you are because you're here at Brandmerry. So the third step that you want to take now, let's say we've pulled out like 4 or 5 of the things that we could ultimately help someone with. And we've got those at the top, okay? And we've identified the income and the impact for each of those. Now we want to think about, who is this for? Now, most of my clients come in one of these two areas. One, they already know exactly who they want to work with and who they want to support. Fantastic. That makes this process super easy because now you can just think of that ideal customer and figure out which one is right for them. If you don't know specifically, now would be the time to start thinking about that. And this is phase 1 of my ideal customer work. This is where you dream up the ideal customer, the person that you would love to work with every single day, forever and ever. Who is this person? We'll later back that up with data when we do our market research, but right now you're really thinking like, I want to work with this specific person who is struggling with this, who wants this, who needs this, who is experiencing this problem. And you then present your offering to solve that problem. So now we're going to look at our list and we're going to say, all right, which of these fits my ideal customer best? Which of these would have the biggest impact in my ideal customer's life? Which of these would my ideal customer pay money for? Again, going back to income and impact. So again, we've listed out all of the different things that you could potentially offer. Then we have categorized them, prioritized things that are going to create more impact and income. Now we're going to narrow it down even further by thinking about our target audience and income and impact for them specifically. And then we're going to take it one step further and choose the offering that is going to solve the most specific problem. Now, as I've already mentioned, if someone has a problem, they will invest to solve that problem. Every business solves a problem. If you have a skincare line and you specify in skincare for acne, the problem is acne, you're solving that problem, okay? You will be more profitable if you solve a problem with your business. And I promise you, everything does, okay? So right now you're going to look at this list, which should be narrowed down, and you're going to say, okay, of these different things that I could offer, what is a problem that my ideal customer is struggling with that I could solve? So when I was in this part of the process, I knew I wanted to work with new entrepreneurs because that's what I was and had been. I had a lot of experience in working corporate with communication and marketing and branding and messaging and these different things. And I knew that I specifically wanted to work with mothers at the time. I was a new mother, so I had a really strong connection, obviously, with this demographic. So I started to think about the things that my ideal customer would need. When I was first starting, the problem that my ideal customer had was that they didn't have enough time to do all of this on their own. They didn't have enough time to do the research. They needed to get their business up and running within 90 days so they could start making money because they wanted to leave their 9 to 5 to be home with their children, right? This is when I was first starting my business. What I brought to the table is that I could help them simplify the process, give them the step-by-step to build their brand, launch their brand, and launch their website into the world. And I could do that within 90 days. And so that started to, boom, right away. I was like, great, that is the core focus of my one-to-one offering. The problem that I solve is that they don't know what to do or when to do it to get their business up and running in 90 days. I'm going to solve that problem, which was very much aligned with their goals. So from this long list of all the different things that I could do, I narrowed it down to that one specific type of program promise. And my one-to-one Passport to Freedom was born. And so you're going to follow this exact same process, okay? The very final step, once you have narrowed down that problem that you solve, is how are you going to deliver this? Now, again, as I mentioned before, one-to-one types of services are usually the quickest and lowest barrier to entry, meaning you can get started right away with that. You don't need a lot of money upfront to invest, and the ROI tends to be really high, which is fantastic because when you're getting started, you want to roll that income back into your business to invest in things that help you scale, right? So it's a really great place to start, but obviously it's not the only place to start. And depending on where you're at in your journey, you might be ready for something different. So now you're wanting to think about, how am I going to deliver this offering? Again, we talked about one-to-one, which could be anywhere from a 90-minute session, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months of support, right? You get to determine what time frame do you need to get them to that end result. You could also host group programs. So if you want to support a larger group at one time rather than maybe the one-to-one type of offering, typically you charge a little bit less for like a group program. Then maybe packaging this offering into a group program would be really beneficial. The next thing that I like to say are courses, right? Courses could be live, but typically are going to be delivered as more of an evergreen passive product, meaning that you're going to record all of your teachings and create your workbooks and create your materials, and then you're going to house them in a membership portal. When someone purchases, they get access to those materials, and maybe they get a support piece. So you can see as we're going down the list, the support is kind of going away a bit, right? So a lot of how much support you can give depends on how much time you have, and also depends on what problem you're solving. Do you need to be there? Does it need to be hands-on? Or is it like, buy this, go through this, and you'll be golden? Again, that kind of depends on you, your business, and the problem that you're obviously solving, as well as your ideal customer. Let's not forget them as well. Then the next one down, we have memberships. So again, memberships, very similar to courses, but typically content is, housed and updated or added monthly. You also have community memberships. We have educational memberships. There's also the option of a support membership. These are typically lower priced. So anywhere between, I've seen $7 a month to, $200 a month, but I would say they're usually around like the 40 to 97 range. And you're going to need more people to make money in this area, but maybe based on what problem you're solving and how you want to deliver it, a membership makes perfect sense. A couple of my clients who were actually on the podcast when we talked about cycle syncing, they recently started a community membership that is doing amazing, and it's all about women's health. And this was perfect for them and their model and how they can provide information. They didn't necessarily need to create a step-by-step course. It was this kind of ongoing support that their ideal customer needed. So a membership made the most sense. And then underneath that, we have our digital goods. So these are just one-off types of purchases. They're usually a very, very specific problem that your ideal customer is struggling with, or many of my clients who are in the graphic design space, they're solving the problem of entrepreneurs having to create their own graphics, which is freaking hard and time consuming. And a lot of entrepreneurs don't know where to start because design isn't their forte. They might have a lot of different options for templates in their shop. So the shop itself, I would actually classify as the offering, and then they have these different options. Again, these could range anywhere from $7 to $300 that they purchase it, and then they use that, they implement that. If you want to sell planners, checklists, different things like that, those would be examples of digital goods. Now you can see as we've broken these down into the different deliverables that there's going to be a range of income associated with each of those. And so as you're choosing how you want to deliver, always think about what your income goals are, and does what you're wanting to sell match where you want to be financially? Because as I've mentioned before, getting started with one-to-one, signing one client at $3,000, which is how I got started, feels really amazing. And you can typically do that with a smaller pool. So I was just getting started. I didn't have a community. I didn't have an email list, none of it. I was starting from scratch. So my email list sat at like 10 people for like 3 to 4 months in the beginning. And I was able to sign a client from those 10 people. You don't need as big of a pool because you don't need as many people. When we get into memberships, in order to hit that 3K, I would either have to charge a premium price for the membership, or I would need a lot more people to sign up. It's really important that you think of the money portion and how many sales are going to be required for that specific offering in order to hit that. So there you go. That should walk you through the very first steps in figuring out what you can offer and sell. Again, we're starting from a place of what are you good at? What feels exciting to you? And then we're thinking about, hey, how do we market this? Who is the target market? What problem are we solving? And how do we ultimately want to deliver it? Again, this is only part one of my framework on helping you create your signature offering or offerings if you want to do more than one in your business. The second part is all about designing your custom framework, which then you can use to create courses and memberships and digital goods and have a full suite of all of the different things if you want. My signature framework has started with one-to-one and has gone on to create my group program Roadmap to Freedom, many courses that I have, my membership, as well as digital goods that I periodically sell throughout the year. So your signature framework is a really simple way to fast track into all of these different areas and have a beautiful suite available for your offerings. This is something that I teach inside of Roadmap to Freedom, along with all of the elements of building a brand foundation, how to create your website, build your email list, market your business, create content and sell super, super authentically to you. My ultimate goal is to help you create more income and impact, and I'm going to show you how to do it in as little as 90 days. If you are ready to get signed up for Roadmap to Freedom, this live group program that comes with a private community, monthly strategy calls, monthly mindset calls, modules, and me in there providing support and feedback directly to you, you can head to brandmerry.com/freedom and you can check out the details, hear from alumni, and get signed up today. Again, doors close October 8th, so be sure to get signed up. We start rocking and rolling on October 9th, and we'll be together for 4 beautiful months as we close out 2023 and head into 2024. All right, next week we've got a break because although right now I'm recording this, I'm actually currently in Europe, all right? So come on over, follow me on Instagram. My family and I are on a 2-week trip to Europe, and I would love for you to check out what we're doing and say hi. And of course, if you have questions about Roadmap to Freedom, you can send me a DM there as well. I'll be back in a couple weeks with a new episode. Have an amazing little mini break. I know that I will. And don't forget to get signed up for Roadmap to Freedom at brandmerry.com/freedom before doors close on October 8th. Bye.